jumping momentarily to video 55, as I have to correct 54. We're going to look at factorizing. So what exactly is factorizing in algebra? Well, it's basically the reverse of expanding. So when we're looking at when we looked at expansion of brackets, factorizing, we do the reverse of it. Sometimes this usually makes it easier to work with the numbers. We can't there's sometimes we can't do calculations when the numbers and the variables are inside brackets. So taking them out of the brackets was useful. That's why we did that. Now, doing it the reverse, factorizing, puts it back into the brackets, and so it makes it look tidier and better formatted, easier to read as well. So for instance, I've got this equation here, 3x plus 6, and I can factorize it. The reason being is that the first thing we've got to do is separate all the variables or constants, remember the letters with their coefficients and the numbers, that are separated by a plus or a minus. So in this case, we've got one term that we'll have to keep separate, the 3x, and the number 6. Now, because those two are separated by a plus. Now, if you note, I underlined both of them, but the second one, the number 6, I also underlined the plus, because it's a good idea to treat this as a positive 6, because when something's being taken away, for instance, 3x take away 6, it actually is easier then to think of it as a negative, so it's a minus 6. Next thing we have to do is look to see what is the common factor of these terms and constants. In this case, 3 will go into both of them, because I can look at the numbers and I can see that 3x can be divided by 3. 3 will go into 3. And 3 will go into 6. So I put the 3 outside a bracket and then divide everything inside by that 3. So 3x divided by 3 is just x. Remember, if we put a 3 underneath 3x, the 3's would cancel, leaving x. And then 6 divided by 3 is 2, and because it's a positive 2, we put plus 2. So this is exactly the same thing. We've done the reverse of expanding the brackets now. 3 times x plus 2, or 3 lots of x plus 2. So that's a nice simple one to start with. So looking at this one then, we've got 4x plus 8x squared. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is underline the terms that are separated by a plus or minus. So we've got the 4x on the left and the positive 8x squared on the right. What are the common factors? Well, you can see that 4 goes into both 4 and 8. But what you might not notice is that x goes into both of x and x squared. The way to think about this, I suppose, is that if you had 2 and 2 squared, we know that 2 goes into both of them. 2 on its own is just a 2, and we can divide 2 by 2. 2 squared is 2 times 2, or 4, and 4 can be divided by 2. So in thinking about it as numbers, now change it to letters. X on its own can be divided by x. X squared, or x times x, can be divided by x. If you are having difficulty remembering how to divide powers by letters, make sure you go back to your indicia and the videos and treat them exactly the same. So for instance, if we had 3 squared divided by 3, you take the one we're dividing by is 3 to the power of 1, so you take the 2 off the 1. 3 squared, 3 to the power of 2, divided by 3 to the power of 1 is 3 to the power of 1. But that bit, you need to look at that in the indicia videos. I'm assuming that you've gone through them. If not, go check them out. So, first thing I've got to do is divide both of them by 4. So 4x divided by 4 is x, because the 4's cancel out. And 8x squared divided by 4 is 2x squared, because the 8 divided by 4 gives us 2. However, we're not just dividing by 4, we're dividing by an x as well. So we put 4x in. So we keep on going. With the first equation, x now divided by x is 1. because any number divided by itself is 1. Which makes sense because we started off with 4x, we're dividing it by 4x, and our answer is 1. With the second one, we got 2x squared, and we got dividing it by x. And if you look back over indicia and the rules of indicia, 2x squared divided by x is 2x. If you notice, I just remove 1 from the power, and it becomes 2x. So, leaving us with the equation, apologise for the 2 by here, 4x times 1 plus 2x. And that's the same because 4x times 1 is 4x. 4x times 2x is 8x squared. 4 times 2 is 8. X times x is x squared. Any number times itself is that number squared. Minus 2yx squared minus 6x cubed. So, the two parts by here are minus 2yx squared and minus 6x cubed. And if you notice, remember now I said to treat that as a negative number. So when we're looking for the common factors, we're not looking to see that go into 2 and 6. We're looking to see actually it's minus 2 will go into minus 2 and minus 6. So first of all, the first common factor then is minus 2. It'll go into both these numbers. Well, there's no y that's common to them. There's only a y over here, not in this one, so we can't divide it by y. But by here we've got x squared, x to the 2, and by here we've got x to the cube. So x will definitely go into them, but because this is x squared, we can actually divide both of them by x squared. So the common factors are minus 2 and x squared. When you've got, another way to think about it is when you've got the variables to different powers. So by here we've got x to the 2 and x to the 3. The common factor there will be whichever power is lowest. So if this had been x to the 4 and x to the 5, the common factor would be the x to the 4. If we've got x to the 2 and x to the 8, the common factor would be x to the 2. So, again, just going over why x squared is a factor of x cubed. Remember that x squared is x times x, and x cubed is x times x times x. So you can see here that x times x comes up in both of these. So hence, it's a factor of x squared, and it's a factor of x cubed. Okay, so minus 2, first of all, we divide both of them by minus 2. So minus 2yx squared divided by minus 2. Well, the minus 2's will cancel out, leaving us with yx squared. Minus 6x cubed divided by minus 2. Well, minus 6 divided by minus 2 is 3. So we're left with 3x cubed. And we put that minus 2 outside the brackets. Next then, we've got to divide by x squared. So yx squared divided by x squared. The x squareds are going to cancel out because just the same as the numbers cancelled out, the x squareds cancelled out, leaving us with the y. And then the 3x cubed divided by x squared, well, the 3 is going to stay the same because there's no number. But remember that x cubed divided by x squared is just x, because we take away the 2 from the 3, giving us x to the 1, and the proper way of saying x to the 1 is x. So remember, with indicia, when we're dividing, we take away the dividing power from the original power, so 3 take away 2, and it gives us x to the 1, which is just x. So our equation will be minus 2x squared bracket y plus 3x. And that is how you factorize an equation.